Instagram that you just heard from me. And the headline was, Candace Owens says Trump is pro-vax because he's too old to understand the internet. I never once called Trump too old. I never once said that Trump could not understand the internet. And yet somehow he got that information and believed it to be true. He thought that I said that he was too old and that he couldn't understand the internet and did not quite get the information that actually what I was saying was a defense of him so that his supporters would still believe in him. Not only was he just mad, by the way, he then, during a golf session with some mutual friends of ours, had a person next to him who was egging this on, saying to Trump, and I know this because, again, this is a mutual friend, aren't you mad at Candace? Aren't you mad at Candace? Aren't you mad at Candace? And eventually he was like, yeah, I'm so mad at Candace. I'm so mad at Candace. And this got back to me.
Bro, what is happening? Dude, American politics is so cooked, yo. Especially the Republican Party. Like, can you imagine? Candace Owens is nowhere near a notable person, okay? Just straight up propped up by the Republican Party infrastructure to be like a notable person in the media. And like, you got someone like her whose reach is marginal, okay? Let's be real. In compared to someone like myself, Candace Owens' reach is minuscule, okay? And yet, Donald Trump is having petty high school style drama or beef with someone like fucking Candace Owens. That's insane. That is insane. That's crazy shit when you think about it. The guy that made Candace Owens was supposedly my peer who I debated numerous times at Politicon. Are you jealous? I'm not jealous, but it does definitely frustrate me to see how little the Democratic Party gives a shit about its own naturally occurring, organically occurring media structure. Like, there is no world in which like Democrats would ever prop up leftist people in general, and there's no world in which like they would also. There's no world in which they would even have like regular liberal voices. You know what I mean? The difference is you despise 90% of the party. Yes. But you know, I think that you played Among Us with them? No, I played Among Us with my friends, with people I know personally. Okay? Which is a tiny margin of the Democratic Party. That is entirely different. Like, there's no world in which I meet Joe Biden. There's no world in which I would have met Barack Obama when I was like debating Charlie Kirk. But Charlie Kirk was literally fucking besties with Donald Trump Jr. and still is. Had Donald Trump Jr. on shows. You know what I mean? There is no infrastructure within the Democratic Party that is interested in propping up voices that are young. The guys from Pod Save America talk about this a lot. No targeted left media apparatus. Oh, for sure. Like, I know for a fact. Okay, here, I'll tell you this much. I know for a fact that the operatives within the Democratic Party, staffers, whatnot, they're in here right now. Some of them are even famous in this community, even though they're major GTA RP fans now and no longer come around, like H. Bizzle. There are Democratic Party operatives that are in here currently as we're speaking. There are people who even work with Kamala Harris. There are people who work with Joe Biden that are in this community that watch. And I'm happy for any kind of influence that I can have in that respect. But ultimately, okay, there's no world in which that ends up being a positive for someone like myself. That is the reason why when, for example, Anthony Fauci was doing the rounds on Twitch under the Biden administration, the Biden campaign specifically told Twitch that they did not want to work with me. Like, they specifically were like, no, we don't want to do that. Because they just know what my perspective is on the administration. Nightmares Mass, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. That is not because Joe Biden personally knows who I am. Of course he doesn't. 900 years old. But that's because staffers do. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's watch this.
That he was upset with me, that he was angry at me. And the next time that I saw him, he was quite rude to me. He was actually rude to me. I'm telling you this personal story because I think it is something that made me, for the first time, question him as a person. So you have an individual that spent years defending you, right? And that individual gave you a completely kind and fair interview. You said something yourself that your base didn't like, and you somehow transformed that into something that I did wrong. That's unacceptable. That is not being a leader. That is not owning things that you did wrong. That is not owning.
I love that in Candace Owens' eyes, that's the first time Donald Trump was not happy and refused to take accountability. Like, I love that. You think that's the first time this happened? That's what made you realize he doesn't like accountability? That's crazy.
That you misunderstood.
Once again, in fairness, you will always have a ceiling amongst the Dems because of your 821 stuff. No, that's not the reason. No, my friend, the ceiling is my relentless criticism of the Democratic Party and also my political worldview, which is antithetical to the opinions of the overwhelming majority of the Democratic Party. There is no such distinction between independent content creators on the right versus the Republican Party as a whole. Their ideological project revolves around upholding capitalism, okay? Same with the liberals. But what I'm confused by is that liberals also don't. What I'm confused by is also that the liberals don't fucking do that for other liberal content creators. You know what I mean? There are plenty of like libbed up content creators. I guess they do that sometimes to like Randy Rainbow and shit. You know what I mean? But that's it. What is this?
McConnell spent close to $400 million.
We saw this already earlier.
Understood something about your base. That's not growing. That's not developing. In fact, he should have tried to understand why the base was so upset with him, which would have led to the fact that his base is not pro-COVID vaccine. It's that simple. I understood that. I could have told him that. But at that moment, I realized that he's not listening. Who is this guy next to him?
I love that that's the moment that she realized it, by the way. That was it. That was when she figured it out.
Trying to egg him on to be angry.
It's like at the top of the hour when I tell you time and time again that there's a 6-second ad break and like you just refuse to comprehend it. And then only when you're personally slighted by a segue that hits you in the face when you recognize maybe there is a top of the hour ad break right now. Okay? But then I tell you over and over again, like, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay? And then you get hit in the face with an ad. And then I tell you, maybe if you get lucky, you can get gifted a sub. Like Nightmare's Mask, which gifted 20 gifted subs. Okay? And then you avoid those ads that way, but then you forget once again. Here's the 1 minute ad break now, though.
At me for trying to defend him, to say that he's not a shill, to say, no, actually, I think that he genuinely does support the vaccines. He did genuinely support the vaccines. So all of this going on made me, again, question him if he was becoming too angry, which is to say.
It's pretty funny to consider this because, like, Ron DeSantis supports the vaccines too. Ask Ron DeSantis if he got fucking vaxxed up. You know what I mean? He did. It's Cariff, thank you for the 4 get the subs. Stretsky, thank you for the 5 get the subs. You know? It's like, it's just so dumb. She's like mad at Trump for fucking openly supporting the vaccines.
That when Trump went into the election in 2016, he was having fun, right? He was naming people, giving them fun names, enjoying the base, having a good time. I would even say in 2020.
No political analysis from political commentator Candace Owens thus far. Petty grievances, personal realizations, upset that Donald Trump fucking likes the vaccines. And lastly, Donald Trump was having fun when he was running for president. Dude, you're a political commentator. What about like his policies? I thought that was the reason why he was saving America. No, he was saving America because he was having fun, because he was owning the libs, which, by the way, that is at the heart of a lot of the resentment and a lot of the reason why these people fucking vote Republican. Okay? It's it. That's it. Because why else would you vote for fucking deregulation and tax cuts when you are poor, when you're fucking broke, when you don't know where your next meal ticket's coming from? Why in the ever-loving fuck would you vote for the party that shows its open disdain for the working poor every time they push for a policy? Okay? It's because they have told you that your enemy is your fellow citizens. They've told you that your enemy is like trans people. They told you that your enemy is like immigrants. They told you that your enemy is like black people, brown people. They're doing crime and all this shit, okay? And that they're going to punish your enemies for you. They tell you that like it's all being controlled by the liberal elitist media, and the liberal elitists are hurting you and harming you. And in some circumstances, that is true. Liberal elitists are hurting and harming you as they are capital owners. But that capital ownership extends beyond the ideological boundaries of liberalism. Obviously, there's plenty of fucking Republicans that own the coal mines too, right? But that's the only reason why you go out and you vote for Republican, especially if you're making like 35 grand a year and you're living in a fucking trailer park. You're doing that because you're angry, you're resentful. Television Man told you the reason why you're resentful is because there are trans children at schools or some shit, okay? That's why you should be angry and you should be resentful. And the Republican Party loves funneling your dumbasses into the fucking voting machine. Brrr, goes the fucking voting machine. And Donald Trump was great because he was having fun with it. He was making fun slogans. He was just having fun.
You could feel the energy. It was electric. I think after the 2020 election, and because of the shock of all the things that happened and the answers that we never really feel that we got, this like sinking realization that we might be actually losing our country, I think that it pushed him into an angry space where he doesn't trust anybody, where he doesn't listen to anybody, where he's almost likely to believe that everybody's trying to turn their back on him and stab him in the back. And again, I don't believe that that's leadership, but I never spoke on that because I thought to myself, I think that that's a lot of ego that Trump is having right now, but maybe I'm being egotistical. Maybe me even speaking out about this is me being offended and butthurt that he was so rude to me. He was so rude to me on the basis of what he said. But after time, I've realized that no, these discussions that everybody is having, these conservative influencers are having behind Trump's back should be also had with the public as well. You have a right to know that. You have a right to take that information and judge it as you will. And to question whether...
Dude, they're fucking running, dude. The rats are escaping the ship, okay? The ship is sinking and the rats are fucking running away.
There are no...
Here's the thing. A lot of you don't remember this because it feels like it's ancient news. But I remember a time when Charlie Kirk was also anti-Trump. That's right. Did you guys know this? Did you guys know that when Donald Trump first came into the fucking equation, Charlie Kirk was against Donald Trump all the way back in 2015? Did you know that? It's like virtually impossible to find that footage now. But he was very much on Fox News shitting on Donald Trump. All of these people that are like Trump loyalists. I mean, Candace Owens back then was literally operating a blog that was anti-Trump. To be fair, like Charlie Kirk was at least a Republican at that point, and he was still anti-Trump. Candace Owens literally had an anti-Trump blog as a liberal Democrat. Candace Owens also famously sued the Board of Education in Connecticut for being victim to a hate crime while she was in high school. So there was that too. Like Candace Owens has a very interesting development over the years. I know these people for a long time. I've known of these people for a long time. Many of you probably are completely oblivious. But yeah, Candace Owens was victim of a hate crime, an anti-black hate crime in high school, and she got a settlement from the Board of Education in Connecticut. I think she got like 50 grand or something like that. And she even operated an anti-Trump liberal blog up until 2016 and then flipped it. Yeah. Bro, what happened to her? Why is she on Daily Wire now? Because these people are actors. They don't actually have legitimate perspectives. They will go where the money goes. Okay? Very interesting how victims sometimes become advocates of their own trauma. Man, it's money, dude. It's money. Don't forget that before Trump, she was anti-Gamergate. Yeah, she was a lib. She had a lib blog up until 2016. Show us some of these anti-Trump Charlie Kirk clips. I don't believe you. Like you, for the past 10 years and long before then, most of my political perspectives were nearly identical. I've had some changes in my mentality, but I've always been a progressive person overall. Like, yes, I had transphobic takes, or yes, I had misogynistic takes. But you're out of your fucking mind if you think that I was anywhere near. Yeah, I mean, I had lib takes as well. Of course. And yeah, that's why I joined a multi-million-dollar operation called the HasanAbi broadcast to really make all the money and take advantage of this pre-existing, pre-built audience to the tune of 50,000 live viewers. You know? That's why I did that. Just like Candace Owens flipped over to the Trump side. You notice how there's some differences there? Anyway, I can't find the Charlie Kirk clips, but I show you the right-wing grift every day. I'm literally talking about the example of the right-wing grift right in front of your eyes, and you still go, man, that's why you sold out to the fucking big socialist lobby. There is no money on that side. Okay? There is no money on the socialism side. If that was the case, there would be plenty more anti-capitalists who were caking up and super fucking successful. The unfortunate reality is that is not a very successful grift, if you will. There is now ... Yeah, that's crazy. Which is why Republican commentators are still making 100x across the board, no matter how fucking small they are. Right? That's why, right? That's why, right? I can't believe we still have this conversation, which is crazy. It's funny when people say you're grifting to the left. Why would you grift on a side that hates itself? Literally. It's the dumbest. It is the dumbest fucking way to grift. The absolute dumbest way to grift is to grift on a side that fucking despises itself and is so susceptible to infighting and just like attacking its own before anyone else. The real grifters that were supposedly leftist have already moved on from the leftist grift. Okay? Now they're all MAGA communists. Now they're all right-wing. Shocking, by the way, that there are so many fucking examples of this. So many fucking examples of all of these supposedly real Marxist-Leninists that all have now become regular old conservatives. I wonder how that happened. It almost feels like the grift works only one way and not necessarily the other. You literally do infighting all the time? Where? To what? The difference is you genuinely change your mind because of gain knowledge and experience while they change their minds because of money? Yeah, 100%.
There has been a change in Trump. How could there not be? How could you suffer a defeat and know in your heart that a lot of things that happened regarding that defeat were wrong, even if you don't believe that what happened in Maricopa County during the election was fishy? I do personally believe that. You at least believe that the Hunter Biden laptop suppression led to different results in the election. Of course it did. Many people said that if they had known that that laptop was real, they would have voted differently. So he has every right to be angry. But if you stay at a place of anger, right, you are ignoring everything that is going on around you. You're no longer looking and assessing things in the way that you should be assessing them because you're holding on to this almost vengeful spirit, right? That is the question that I've had with Trump. Is he going to get over the trauma of the election of 2020 and begin to paint a vision for 2024? What is his vision for 2024? Is it I'm back? Because that's not a vision to me. It needs to be more than I'm back, right? And I think that what's happening behind closed doors, people believing that they're not sure who he's listening to. Maybe there's a paranoia potentially that's setting in, that he believes that his friends, now me, oh my God, how could you say I was too old? I read the headline on the Daily Beast. That's what she said. I didn't say that, right? If you thought I said that, you should have been a decent human being. You should have picked up the phone and you should have called me, right? Because that's what I would have done. I would have reached out.
Bro, she's talking about the president. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Why didn't you call me President Donald Trump to just like ask? What part of this is political commentary, by the way? That's wild. What the fuck is going on? I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit here. What is happening? Why? What is happening and why?
Out to you to clarify things. That's what it means to be a person. That's what it means to be a friend. That's what it means to be a colleague, not even a friend. What it means to be a colleague is to actually have relationships with people, to honor the relationships that you have with people that don't take place in the public sphere. We didn't do any of those things.
Sphere.
And I think that the MAGA movement is reflecting Trump. I think there is a trepidation that I'm sensing in Trump. And I think that that trepidation is evidenced by him taking a random swing at DeSantis last week. I don't think it was helpful.
I can't believe about this is, but like, he don't know you, little bro. Okay? That's crazy. Like, it's not like that, I don't think. I mean, what the fuck? You are not him, okay?
Helpful, even though DeSantis won Florida handily. He's not running against DeSantis right now, right? DeSantis is running for governor. I know Trump voted for him and all of that's great. Why take a random swing, right? I think the base is feeling that trepidation. They're not sure who to listen to on endorsements. Do you listen to DeSantis? Do you listen to Trump? Or do we listen to these influencers? Are these influencers listening to DeSantis? Are these influencers listening to Trump? They're wondering about what the leadership looks like. And I think that I am not at all under any impression that Trump can't win in 2024. No. What I am saying is that Trump needs to take a good look in the mirror. And he needs to take a good look in the room, and he needs to read the room accurately. He needs to take a look at those that are around him that are inspiring this paranoia and making him believe that everyone's out to get him, including his friends. And he needs to exercise a tiny bit more humility.
Bro, this is crazy. It's just a drama reply YouTube video from 2012. Yeah. No, she literally reduced like all of the promises that she foresees Trump having to not full. One of my favorite guests, but don't tell any of the other guests that, obviously. Brilliant, insightful. He's great. What's the CETU's position on the Fulcrum Coalition's proposal to get faded in a hoe? Fuck, we missed out on that. I should have asked them some dumbass questions like that instead. We are going to get back to Candace Owens talking about Hitler. Okay. Once again, Candace Owens can't stop herself from promoting Hitler in some capacity. It's very strange. I've gone on for 31 years of my life, and not once have I accidentally promoted Hitler, okay? It's never happened. I don't know how I was able to avoid it. I've been a political commentator for like the past 10 years. I've never done this on accident. Maybe I've forgotten the top of the hour ad break when I'm invested in a conversation and served it to you 8 minutes into the top of the hour. But of course, I will always immediately follow that up by telling you that if you no longer want to see those ads, well, then all you need to do is subscribe. But you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Hopefully you can use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully I am your favorite broadcaster. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. But getting back to Candace Owens. Getting back to Candace Owens. Red Sheaf, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Getting back to Candace Owens. Here is Candace in her own words.
I was right. Last night, hashtag Hebrews to Negroes was trending on Twitter. It was a top trend on election night, no less. And everybody under the trend was saying, I'm watching
Why is she so excited about this?
it right now. I'm watching it. Why would they try to take this from us? Why would they try to keep this information from us? And that is what happens when you over-censor information. It was never necessary to attack Kyrie Irving, even if you felt that the information in this documentary was bad, and there are plenty of people that have spoken.
By the way, classic mistake. That's just a self-report. That was only trending for you. Most people don't realize. That's why everyone's always like, why is Hasan trending? It's like, no, it's because you are involved with Hasan. Okay? So you see it. If you are involved in the dissemination of misinformation, if you are involved in, I don't know, that sort of stuff, then yes. You know? That's what's going to be trending for you.
Up and said that the extreme efforts that the ADL went through in coalition with the NBA to punish him, and their efforts to then demand that Amazon take this documentary down, of course, was going to pique people's interest. Not only is the documentary the top documentary on Amazon, but it's also the book, which I didn't even know that had a book, is now a bestseller on Amazon's list. So if you go to Amazon bestsellers, you will see Hebrew to Negroes is one of the best-selling books. And what I like about this story is because you know how I feel about free speech. I think that people have a right to be wrong. People have a right to take in information.
I love that she's like saying, she's implying that the information in this documentary is wrong, but it's cool that people are spreading it. It's cool that people are really invested in spreading it. Lol. Which is really interesting for her because, like, she's basically admitting that it's wrong, but she just wants people to know the wrong information, I guess.
People have a right to read whatever they want. Little reminder, if you actually go on Amazon right now, you can order and read Mein Kampf. It is not an endorsement of Adolf Hitler to read a historical textbook. It just is not.
Okay. Yeah, no, she's doing that. She's going there. Congratulations to Candace Owens. Once again, unable to stop herself from perpetually defending, promoting white supremacist texts, white supremacy, and of course, the final stage of that, which is, you know, Nazi stuff. She said, Mein Kampf, the textbook, that's cool.
Right? And the idea that we should be censoring all of this information and no one should see it because it hurts some group of people, to me, doesn't.
Also, ironic considering, like, like, she literally, she compared Hitler, like Adolf Hitler and Mein Kampf, to some random ass documentary that is anti-Semitic, okay? Like, everybody knows who the fuck Mein Kampf, what the fuck Mein Kampf is about and who the fuck Hitler was. You can't Barbara Streisand effect your way into Adolf Hitler, okay? That's not a thing. Like, there's a genuine difference between someone making something popular and then the inevitable censorship backlash making that thing a little bit more popular for people who are curious versus, you know, one of the most famous historical figures of all time. Very weird. She probably wants to censor children's books with LGBT characters, though. Of course she does. She also does not like CRT. These people are not genuine. There is no such thing as free speech absolutism, and there certainly isn't one that is even half thought out or half baked in the minds of those like Candace Owens. They just want the fascist textbooks to be readily available and easy to read. They want the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories to be popular. They don't want the actual retelling of history from the perspective of black people to be readily available to the public. That's the difference. Because the more people learn about the true history of slavery in this country, the more people are going to recognize systemic racism. And that would undercut a major component, a major talking point that the Republicans latch onto. They latch onto that and are successful with it because they recognize the entirety of the American population is oblivious to the reality. Okay, that's how this works. So yeah.
Not gel well with our First Amendment rights. Amazon still not in trouble. Don't know how Kyrie Irving's entire life is on the line, but nobody is talking about Amazon.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving's entire life is on the line, totally.
But they are making a ton of money. So Kyrie Irving is losing money, and Amazon is making tons of money. Think about that for a second.